Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. In a rapidly evolving situation in the Middle East, tensions between Iran and the United States have taken a dramatic turn. Diplomatic efforts are underway to address long-standing issues, and major players are making significant statements. Today, we'll bring you up to date on developments from the Strait of Hormuz, where a temporary truce has been brokered, but will it be enough? Let's dive into the latest news on Iran-Iran talks, U.S.-Iran relations, and the implications for global energy markets. With tensions escalating in global shipping lanes, Iran is issuing a stark warning that critical waterway access may be at risk if negotiations stall. Iran has issued a warning that if diplomatic talks with the U.S. fail, key maritime routes could face further disruption. According to sources cited by Reuters, Tehran maintains that no negotiations are currently taking place between the two countries. Instead, Iran claims Washington is attempting to coerce it into surrender through pressure rather than dialogue. Iran's stance suggests any flexibility from Tehran would depend on reciprocal steps from the U.S. side. The country will not reopen the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for what it describes as empty promises. This development has raised concerns over the security of global shipping lanes, particularly at the Bab al-Mandab Strait. The Bab al-Mandab Strait is a critical choke point linking the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and plays a vital role in international trade. Its closure could have significant implications for global energy supplies and maritime commerce. The situation highlights growing tensions over strategic waterways, with both the Strait of Hormuz and Bab al-Mandab playing crucial roles. The warning comes amid continued regional escalation and stalled diplomatic efforts. This has led to fears of a broader disruption to international shipping and economic stability. Iran's regional allies could move to close the Bab al-Mandab Strait if the situation escalates further, adding to the pressure on global trade routes. As tensions rise, the world watches with concern. The implications for global trade and energy supplies are far-reaching. Any escalation in this region has the potential to send shockwaves around the globe. The international community must remain vigilant as diplomatic efforts continue to stall. Following a surprise announcement earlier today, President Donald Trump has revealed plans for a temporary truce with Iran in an effort to reduce tensions. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is a news recap from CBS News World. In a surprise move, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire with Iran on Wednesday. The development comes after weeks of escalating tensions between the two countries, which culminated in the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani by a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad. According to reports, Trump said the ceasefire was necessary to reduce violence and create an opportunity for talks to resume. The agreement is reportedly backed by key allies of the U.S., including Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. However, details of the ceasefire are scarce, and it remains unclear what concessions Iran has made or what conditions must be met in order for the agreement to hold. Iranian officials have welcomed the move, but some analysts warn that the fragile truce may not last long. The U.S.-Iran standoff has significant implications for global security and the energy markets. Oil prices plummeted on news of the ceasefire, and traders expect a reduction in tensions to lead to increased investment in the region. Trump's announcement comes ahead of crucial congressional elections in the U.S., where his party is under pressure to demonstrate its commitment to national security. The move may also help to ease concerns about the escalating conflict in Yemen, which has drawn in multiple global powers. As the situation continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The fragile ceasefire has brought a temporary reprieve from the worst of the tensions between the U.S. and Iran. However, the road to a lasting resolution remains fraught with challenges and uncertainties. After weeks of tense negotiations, world leaders have reached a significant breakthrough in their efforts to ease the escalating energy crisis between the U.S. and Iran. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is your news recap. In a surprise move, the U.S. and Iran have agreed on a 2-week ceasefire, bringing some much-needed relief to global energy markets. The deal was brokered by Saudi Arabia, which has long been a rival of Iran's in the region. According to sources close to the talks, President Donald Trump vowed to pursue diplomatic efforts with Iran rather than escalating the conflict, which had raised concerns about a potential war in the Middle East. In exchange for the ceasefire, Iran agreed to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial waterway that connects the Gulf to the wider Indian Ocean. The deal marks a significant shift in the ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Iran, with Trump having previously threatened to take military action against Tehran's nuclear program. The agreement has been hailed as a last-ditch effort to avoid a conflict that could have far-reaching consequences for global oil supplies. Details of the deal are still emerging, but experts say it could help to alleviate fears of an energy crisis and ease tensions in the region. The ceasefire is set to take effect immediately, with both sides agreeing to engage in further talks on security and other issues. The implications of this deal will be closely watched in the coming days, as markets adjust to the new reality. We'll continue to bring you updates on this developing story as more information becomes available. Now that a US-Iran ceasefire agreement has been reached, let's examine how this deal shifts power dynamics between these two global superpowers. A 2-week ceasefire has been announced between the US and Iran, following a series of escalating tensions over the past few days. The deal allows for the reopening of the Hormuz Strait, which connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean, a crucial waterway for global oil supplies. The agreement is seen as a victory for President Donald Trump, who was able to claim that his administration had successfully negotiated a peaceful resolution to the crisis. However, critics argue that Iran holds the stronger hand in the negotiations and that the actual terms of the ceasefire remain unclear. According to reports from Pakistan, where the talks were held, the ceasefire will cover everywhere, including Lebanon. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu quickly contradicted this, vowing to continue his country's military campaign over its northern border with Lebanon. The US has agreed to allow shipping through the Hormuz Strait, but only under Iranian control. Iran plans to implement a proposal to share control of the strait with Oman and split the proceeds from tolls, set at $2 million per ship. This would represent a significant departure from the existing status quo and could potentially alter the global balance of power in the region. The ceasefire is seen as a major development in the crisis, which has raised concerns about the stability of the Middle East and the potential for further conflict. As the situation continues to unfold, it remains to be seen what implications this agreement will have for global politics and economies. Following a surprise announcement from the former US president, we're examining a potential game-changer in Middle Eastern geopolitics that could ease tensions. President Trump has announced his consideration of a joint venture with Iran to set up tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. This comes after the US and Iran agreed on a 2-week ceasefire deal earlier this week. The proposed joint venture would see Iran and the US work together to establish fees for vessels passing through the strategic waterway. The proposal was put forward by Jonathan Karl, ABC News' chief Washington correspondent, during a press briefing at the White House. Trump acknowledged that he was exploring the idea, stating that it could be a good deal for both countries. However, critics have expressed concerns about the potential implications of working with Iran, given its history of supporting terrorism and its nuclear program. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point in global trade, with millions of barrels of oil passing through it every day. The tolls would be paid by vessels using the waterway, generating significant revenue for both Iran and the US. Trump's proposal has been met with skepticism from some lawmakers, who argue that it could embolden Iran's aggressive behavior. The joint venture is also seen as a potential way to reduce tensions between the US and Iran, which have been heightened in recent years due to concerns over Iran's nuclear program and support for terrorist groups. However, many are questioning whether this latest development signals a shift in the Trump administration's approach to Iran. As one senior official noted, this is not a new proposal, but it does represent a potential breakthrough in our relationship with Iran. That's all for today's news recap. We'll continue to monitor the situation in the Middle East as it unfolds. To stay up to date on the latest developments, be sure to like this channel and consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Until then, we bid you farewell.